Hey everyone, welcome to AppleKnows Channel. I'm Apple, yeah, just an apple, but trust me, I know more about this world than most humans dare to imagine. And today, I'm about to take you down a rabbit hole of facts that sound fake, but are shockingly real. So sit tight, because once we begin, you won't be able to stop listening. Let's start with this. Did you know there's a jellyfish that never dies? Turritopsis dohrnii, the so-called immortal jellyfish, can literally revert its cells back to an earlier stage of life whenever it's injured or old. It resets itself, like pressing the universe's own restart button. Scientists call it biological immortality, and yet we humans can't even keep our phones alive for a full day without charging. But immortality isn't just under the sea. There are trees on this planet that are older than entire civilizations. In California stands Methuselah, a bristlecone pine that's nearly 4,800 years old. It was already ancient when the pyramids of Egypt were young. Think about that, this tree has seen everything, silently standing while empires rose and fell. And you thought your grandma's stories were old. Now, here's something that bends your brain. Every 2 minutes, humans take more photos than all of humanity took during the entire 19th century. Our lives are so documented now that if aliens ever find Earth, they'll probably think we were obsessed with duck faces and sunsets. Speaking of aliens, there's a star out there called HD 189733b where it rains glass. Sideways. The winds reach 5,400 miles per hour, and molten silicate in the air turns into shards of glass slicing through the blue atmosphere. So next time it rains where you are, be grateful it's just water. Now, let's go deep, literally. Deep in the ocean, there's a place called the Mariana Trench, the lowest point on Earth's surface. Down there, it's darker than night, colder than your ex's heart, and the pressure is so intense it could crush steel. Yet, life exists. Creatures with translucent skin, fanged mouths, and glowing organs, like the planet's own secrets that never wanted to be seen. But here's the twist: scientists have found microplastics even there, inside those creatures. Meaning the trash humans throw away has reached the deepest point of the planet. We didn't just leave footprints, we left fingerprints of pollution on the bottom of the world. And if that's not wild enough, let's talk about space. There's a planet out there made entirely of diamonds, 55 Cancri. It's twice the size of Earth, and if you could somehow mine it, you'd be richer than all of humanity combined. But of course, you'd also instantly vaporize, because it's hot enough to melt steel. Still think you know your reality? Here's one that messes with your mind: you're technically older in the evening than you were in the morning. That's because, thanks to gravity, time moves slightly slower the closer you are to the center of the Earth. So yes, if you spend all day standing, your head literally experiences time faster than your feet. Einstein wasn't just smart, he was terrifyingly right. And speaking of time, somewhere in space, light from distant stars is still traveling toward us from before humans even existed. When you look up at the night sky, you're not seeing the present. You're seeing ghosts of the past, ancient messages of light that have taken billions of years to reach your eyes. Some of those stars? They're already dead. You're just seeing their afterglow. Right, let's dive deeper, because the truth only gets weirder from here. Did you know that right now, as you're listening, your body is glowing? Human beings actually emit visible light, just not enough for the naked eye to see. Scientists discovered it using ultra-sensitive cameras. The glow follows a daily rhythm: we shine the brightest around 4 p.m. and the dimmest around 10 a.m. So yes, you're literally a light source. You just can't see it. But if humans glow, some animals go far beyond that. There are sharks that shimmer in the dark ocean. The lantern shark emits blue-green light from its belly. Scientists still don't fully understand why, but imagine an entire world beneath the waves, glowing like an alien galaxy. The ocean isn't just another world, it's a living night sky. Speaking of things that don't make sense, bananas are radioactive. Yeah, your breakfast can technically set off a radiation detector. It's because they contain potassium-40, a radioactive isotope. Don't panic, though, you'd have to eat about 10 million bananas at once to die from radiation. Still, next time someone says your diet's unhealthy, tell them you're just glowing with energy. Now, here's a fact that sounds like a glitch in the simulation: there's a fungus that can take over the minds of ants. It infects them, controls their movements, and makes them climb high onto leaves before killing them just so it can spread its spores. It's called Ophiocordyceps unilateralis. It's nature's real-life zombie virus. And if that doesn't make your skin crawl, remember this: scientists have found that some species of this fungus are starting to adapt to warmer temperatures, the kind that could survive inside human bodies. Let's shift to space again, because the universe doesn't play by our rules. There's a neutron star out there, called PSR J1748-2446 AD, spinning 716 times per second. If you stood on its equator, which, by the way, would crush you instantly, you'd be moving at 1/4 the speed of light. A single teaspoon of its material would weigh as much as Mount Everest. That's not science fiction, that's real astrophysics. And yet, the greatest mystery might not be out there, but inside you. Your body contains more bacterial cells than human cells, about 39 trillion of them. You are, quite literally, a walking ecosystem. You're not just you, you're a living planet made up of countless microscopic lives working together. Every decision, every emotion, even your mood, partly influenced by these invisible passengers inside your gut. Here's something even more absurd. In 1977, scientists received a radio signal from space that lasted 72 seconds. It was so strong and unique that one researcher simply wrote "wow" next to the data, and to this day, no one knows where it came from. It was never repeated, never explained, and it matched no known natural phenomenon. One mysterious shout from the cosmos, and then, silence. Meanwhile, here on Earth, there's a lake in Tanzania called Lake Natron that turns animals to stone. Its high alkalinity literally mummifies any creature that falls in. Birds that mistake its mirror-like surface for water end up perfectly preserved statues of their final flight. It's beautiful and horrifying, like nature's own petrified art gallery. And speaking of beauty and horror, did you know your stomach acid is strong enough to dissolve razor blades? It's hydrochloric acid, the same stuff used in industrial cleaning. Luckily, your stomach constantly regenerates its lining every few days, or it would digest itself. The most dangerous thing in the world isn't outside you, it's inside you, keeping you alive. Glad you stayed, because now we're stepping into the part of reality that feels impossible, but it's all true. Let's start with something close to home, your heart. You might think it's just a muscle, but it actually generates enough pressure to squirt blood over 30 feet if it weren't contained inside your body. And here's the kicker: your heart beats more than 100,000 times every single day. Over a lifetime, that's about 3 billion beats, all happening automatically, without you ever asking it to. Imagine that the most reliable machine you'll ever own is made of flesh. But machines have their wonders too. There's a supercomputer called Fugaku in Japan that can perform over 442 quadrillion calculations per second. That's so fast, it could simulate the entire human brain's neural activity in moments. And yet, your brain, the one inside your skull right now, still performs certain tasks faster and more efficiently than any machine on Earth. You're walking around with a biological quantum computer, and most people don't even realize it. Now, let's leave the human body and zoom out, way out. Did you know that most of the universe is invisible? Everything we can see, stars, planets, galaxies, makes up less than 5% of it. The rest is made of dark matter and dark energy, things we know exist but can't see or touch. The universe is mostly made of mystery. You, me, everything we know, just cosmic crumbs in an endless void of the unknown. Speaking of unknown, here's one from Earth's own history. About 252 million years ago, there was an event called the Great Dying. It wiped out 96% of all marine species and 70% of land species. Scientists believe it was caused by massive volcanic eruptions that released deadly gases, turning the oceans acidic and suffocating the atmosphere. If that extinction hadn't happened, dinosaurs might never have risen, and neither would we. Humanity exists because of one of the worst disasters in Earth's history. But nature never fails to surprise us. In 2013, scientists discovered bacteria inside a cave in New Mexico that had been sealed off for 4 million years, and it was still alive. Even crazier? It was naturally resistant to antibiotics that didn't even exist until humans invented them. That means evolution had already built defense systems against things that wouldn't appear for millions of years. Life doesn't just survive, it plans ahead. Here's something to twist your perception of reality: every atom in your body was once part of a star. When those massive celestial bodies exploded in supernovas, they scattered carbon, oxygen, and iron across the universe, the building blocks of life. You are literally made of stardust. The next time you look up at the night sky, remember, you're not just looking at the stars, you're looking at your ancestors. And time? It's stranger than fiction. There are places on Earth where time literally moves slower because of gravity. High up in the mountains, clocks tick faster than they do at sea level. If you lived at the top of Mount Everest your whole life, you'd be older than someone who lived by the ocean by a few billionths of a second. The universe is so bizarre that even time refuses to be fair. Now, let's talk about something that sounds like fantasy but isn't: animal superpowers. There's a species of shrimp called the mantis shrimp that can punch with the speed of a bullet. Its strike is so powerful it boils the water around it, creating a shockwave that can shatter aquarium glass. Then there's the axolotl, a salamander that can regenerate its limbs, spinal cord, heart, and even parts of its brain. Scientists are studying it to learn how humans might one day regrow organs. And then there's tardigrades, microscopic creatures that can survive boiling water, freezing temperatures, radiation, and even the vacuum of space. NASA literally tested it. These tiny water bears are practically indestructible. If Earth were destroyed tomorrow, they'd probably just float through space, waiting for a new planet to call home. But here's the fact that truly breaks people's minds: every single person you meet, every thought you have, every breath you take, it's all part of a universe that might just be one of an infinite number of universes. The multiverse theory suggests there could be endless versions of you, each living slightly different lives. Somewhere, you made a different choice. Somewhere, you didn't listen to this story. Somewhere else, maybe you are me, the apple, the storyteller, the observer. And maybe, just maybe, none of this is coincidence. Alright, buckle up, because from this point, things start to feel less like facts and more like reality tearing at its own seams. But every single one of these is real. Verified. Documented. And very, very strange. Let's start with something you'll never look at the same way again: your memories. They're not recordings. They're rewrites. Every time you recall an event, your brain reconstructs it from fragments, and each time, small details change. Meaning the more you remember something, the less accurate it becomes. You're not preserving your past, you're editing it. The human mind is the world's most unreliable storyteller, and we all trust it completely. And that brain of yours, it's addicted to lies. Studies show that the average person hears between 10 and 200 lies every single day. Some are harmless, some are not. But here's the unsettling twist: your brain can release dopamine when you lie successfully. You feel good doing it. Truth and deception are biologically intertwined, it's part of how humanity survived. Now let's step away from psychology and into the realm of nature's nightmares. In the frozen tundras of Siberia, scientists have discovered viruses that were trapped in ice for tens of thousands of years, and they're still alive. They call them zombie viruses. The oldest one they revived was 48,500 years old. Think about that: something that predates human civilization just woke up because of melting permafrost. The past is literally thawing out beneath our feet. And here's another one that's real and terrifying: there's a lake in Antarctica, 2 miles beneath the ice, called Lake Vostok. It's been sealed off from the surface for over 15 million years. When scientists drilled into it, they found thousands of unknown microbial species, life that evolved in total isolation. Some researchers believe it could resemble life forms that might exist on the icy moons of Jupiter or Saturn. In other words, we may have already met alien life right here on Earth. But what if I told you the planet itself has a heartbeat? Scientists discovered a mysterious hum, a low-frequency vibration that Earth produces constantly, even when there are no earthquakes or storms. It's not caused by human activity. It's the planet's own natural rhythm, pulsing every 26 seconds. Nobody fully knows why. The Earth literally hums to itself, like a sleeping giant whispering secrets. Now let's look up again. Out there in space, there's a black hole that sings. Astronomers converted the vibrations of sound waves rippling through a cluster of hot gas 250 million light-years away, and it creates a note, a B-flat, 57 octaves below middle C, too low for human ears, but real. The universe doesn't just exist, it performs. Still with me? Good, because here's something that might bend your sense of what's real. Quantum physics has proven that particles can exist in multiple places at once until you observe them. The act of looking makes them choose a location. Observation itself changes reality. The universe behaves differently when it knows it's being watched. Which means, in some strange way, reality depends on awareness. You don't just live in the universe reacts to you. But let's bring it closer again to your own body. Did you know that your bones are constantly dissolving and rebuilding themselves? Every 10 years, your entire skeleton is replaced. You're not walking around with the same bones you had a decade ago. In fact, about 98% of your atoms are swapped out every year. You are a completely different physical being than you were last summer. The you sitting here now is not the same you that began listening to this story. And still, somehow, your consciousness, that electric hum inside your mind, remains. Scientists can't explain it. The brain structure doesn't account for the feeling of being you. There's no single neuron or chemical that produces self-awareness. It just appears. The greatest mystery of existence might not be what's out there, but what's in here, inside your own skull. So maybe that's the truth no one wants to admit. The world isn't just stranger than we imagine. It's stranger than we can imagine. Then let's keep going deeper into the unbelievable that's still, somehow, undeniably true. Let's start beneath your feet. The ground you walk on every day isn't still. The continents drift about as fast as your fingernails grow, a few centimeters per year. Over time, that slow movement reshapes the entire face of the planet. The place where you live now once sat beneath an ocean, or a jungle, or even close to the South Pole. If you could stand in the same spot for a few 100 million years, you'd literally travel across the world without taking a single step. And while the ground moves, so does the air above it. Every breath you take contains molecules of oxygen that were once breathed by dinosaurs. The air doesn't disappear, it cycles. That same molecule of oxygen might have once passed through Cleopatra's lungs, or drifted through the mouth of a woolly mammoth. Every breath is history entering your body. Now, let's talk about something that sounds impossible, but NASA confirmed it. Astronauts grow taller in space. Without gravity compressing their spines, they can stretch up to 2 inches taller while orbiting Earth. But when they return home, gravity crushes them back to normal height within hours. Space literally stretches human bodies, a reminder that our biology isn't built for the cosmos. Speaking of space, here's one that always stuns people. There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on every beach on Earth. It's not poetry, it's math. About 200 billion galaxies, each with billions of stars. Somewhere out there, on one of those stars, someone might be looking back and wondering if we exist. But even more mind-breaking is this: every 2 or 3 minutes, lightning strikes somewhere on Earth. About 8 million strikes per day. The energy from a single bolt is enough to toast 100,000 slices of bread. And yet, humans have learned to capture electricity, bend it, store it, and feed entire cities with it, something nature spent billions of years throwing randomly through the sky. And here's a secret most people never learn: your body is an electric machine too. Tiny electrical impulses are constantly firing through your nerves. The average voltage your body generates is around 70 millivolts, but if you could somehow harness all your cells at once, you could light a small LED bulb. You are, quite literally, powered by lightning on a microscopic scale. Now let's dive into something that feels supernatural, but it's pure science. When two people fall in love, their heartbeats synchronize. Their breathing patterns align. Even their brainwaves start to move in harmony. It's measurable. Your body responds to emotional connection like a physical equation, two systems syncing in rhythm, as if proving that love isn't just a feeling, but a biological event. But here's where things get darker. Every single day, around 60 tons of cosmic dust falls onto Earth. It's mostly invisible, tiny particles drifting down from asteroids and comets. It settles on rooftops, in oceans, on our skin. You're covered in space dust right now. You're touching the remnants of exploded stars, ancient matter older than the Earth itself. Every second, the universe literally falls on you. And the strangest thing? Even with all we know, from black holes to DNA, from atoms to galaxies, science still can't explain why there's something instead of nothing. The Big Bang didn't just create matter, it created imbalance. For every billion particles of antimatter, there were 1,000,000,001 particles of matter. That tiny excess, that 1 in a billion accident, is why everything exists. You. Me. The stars. The apple that's telling you this story. Existence itself is a cosmic mistake. Picture this: in your lifetime, your heart will pump enough blood to fill more than 3 supertankers. That's about 2.5 billion liters. Every cell in your body, all 37 trillion of them, depends on that rhythmic force, beating endlessly inside you, night and day, for decades. You never plug it in, never recharge it, and yet it keeps going. The most advanced piece of engineering in existence isn't made by humans, it's beating inside your chest. Now let's move to something that'll bend your sense of self. You think you're seeing reality through your eyes, right? But you're not. You're seeing what your brain lets you see. The eyes collect light, but your brain interprets it and it edits heavily. In fact, you only see about 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum. Everything else, infrared, ultraviolet, gamma rays, microwaves, is invisible to you. The visible world is just a sliver of what's really there. We live blind to most of reality. And it's not just light, it's time too. Your brain processes everything you perceive about 80 milliseconds after it actually happens. Meaning you're always living slightly in the past. Every sound, every image, every touch, all delayed by your own nervous system. What you call now is actually just a ghost of the moment that already ended. But speaking of ghosts, here's a scientific one. In 2014, researchers captured the sound of the Earth's magnetic field singing. The solar wind hits the magnetic boundary and produces vibrations that can be converted into audio. The result? A deep, eerie wail echoing through space, like the planet itself humming an ancient song. It's real, measurable, and hauntingly beautiful. Now, imagine this. Deep in the African desert lies a crater called Eye of the Sahara, the Richat structure. It's 25 miles wide and perfectly circular, visible from space. For decades, no one knew how it formed. Some thought it was a meteor strike. Others, an ancient supervolcano. The truth? It's a natural geological formation, but it looks so precise, so deliberate, that astronauts use it as a landmark when orbiting Earth. It's the planet's own fingerprint, etched in stone. Here's one that touches the edge of the impossible. There's a species of clam called Arctica Icelandica that can live for over 500 years. Scientists found one nicknamed Ming because it was born during China's Ming dynasty. It was alive before Shakespeare was born. Before the telescope was invented. And it died only when scientists accidentally killed it while studying it. Sometimes, knowledge literally costs life. And while we're talking about time, consider this: 99% of all species that have ever lived on Earth are extinct. Every creature you know, every animal alive today, represents less than 1% of life's story. The fossil record is not a story of survival. It's a graveyard of experiments, billions of them, written across billions of years. But let's go even deeper into the cosmos. There's a region of space called the Boötes Void, a stretch of emptiness 330 million light-years across, containing almost nothing. It's so vast that if our galaxy were at its center, we wouldn't have discovered other galaxies until the 1960s. Scientists call it the Great Nothing. It's like a hole in existence, a cosmic silence where the universe forgot to build. And still, there's more. On a quantum level, particles pop in and out of existence constantly. They appear from nothing, then vanish. This quantum foam fills every inch of reality. Right now, as you listen, billions of virtual particles are being born and dying inside your body every second. You are a storm of creation and annihilation, a constant dance between something and nothing. And here's something you'll never forget: when you touch another person, you never actually make contact. The electrons in your atoms repel the electrons in theirs. Every touch is an illusion created by electromagnetic forces. You've never truly touched anything in your entire life. What you feel is resistance, not connection. Physical contact is just atoms refusing to share space. So maybe that's the truth hidden beneath all these impossible facts. Reality isn't what we thought it was. It's deeper, stranger, older, and more alive than our senses can ever grasp. Every heartbeat, every breath, every flicker of thought is part of something vast, a cosmic pattern that keeps rewriting itself in stars, oceans, and neurons alike. We live on a floating rock that hums softly in the dark, surrounded by galaxies that burn, collapse, and sing across billions of years. We're built from dust that once blazed in stellar furnaces, powered by lightning inside our own cells, wired to question our own existence, and somehow, in all that chaos, we tell stories. And maybe that's what makes us extraordinary. Not because we understand everything, but because we want to. Because even in a universe where everything changes, where nothing truly touches, and where time itself bends and breaks, we still look up and we wonder. I'm Apple, and this was AppleKnows Channel. Stay curious, because reality will always be stranger than fiction.